Hello, you're most welcome to Diamond Clothiers. It's so nice to have you here. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, kindly click on the subscription button, like our posts, drop a comment for us, share with your friends and family, and also put on your notification bell. So, in today's tutorial, I'm learning how to make a basic bodice. It is very, very essential that we start from the scratch, even as a beginner. So, first thing first, I'm going to be drawing my starting line, which is also going to stand as my shoulder line. So the first measurement I'm going to take, I'm going to measure from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. I'll take the same measurement on this side so I can get my straight lines perfectly. So the next measurement I'm going to take is going to be my under bust line, which is 13.5 inches, and I'm still going to draw it on the line as well. And the next measurement I'm going to take is my waist measurement. My waist measurement for the front and the back are actually different. So when we get to the back, we are going to alter the back. So for my front measurement, the front waist measurement is 17 inches, and I'm going to determine the length of my blouse right now. So I'll be making use of 22 inches, which I'm still going to measure from my shoulder to 22 inches, which is going to be the top length. I'm so sorry, I didn't know my camera wasn't capturing the whole pattern paper. I'll try to adjust it right now. So what I'm going to do right here is just to draw a straight line across all the measurements that I've taken on my bust line, my under bust, my waistline, and also on the top length. So after adjusting my table, the next measurement I'm going to take is going to be on the starting line, which is my shoulder measurement. So I'm going to measure from one shoulder to the other, and whatever measurement I have, I'm going to divide it by 2. And right here I have 15 inches, divided by 2 is 7.5 inches, and I went ahead to note that point. And from there I'm going to come down by 1 inch, which is made for the shoulder slope, and I'm just going to connect it into the neckline. I hope you get that. Our shoulders are not straight, so there has to be a slant over there. Now for the neck width, I'll be working with 3 by 3, which is the standard, 3 inches depth and 3 inches width. You have to take the measurement on your center front. You note the 3 inches, then you connect it with your curve rule to form a round neckline. This neckline can actually be altered to any style, to any neckline of your choice. The next thing I have to do right here is to work on my armhole depth. And how do I get that? The formula I'll be making use of is round bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, which means that whatever measurement you have around your bust, divide it by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it. So after dividing my bust measurement is actually 36, divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches is 7.5. So I'm going to need to note that 7.5, and I'm going to draw a straight line across that line, which is going to be my chest line. I hope you get that. Now then I'm going to connect a straight line from my shoulder slope to the chest line as well. And whatever measurement I have there is actually 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to divide it by 2. Then I'm going to take note of that point. And from that point, I'll go inwards by 0.5 inches, which is half of an inch. And on that chest line, I'm going to be taking my round bust measurement divided by 4, and whatever measurement I have there, I'm going to notice I actually have 9 inches there. I'll take note of it, and then with the use of my curve rule, I'm going to connect those 3 dots together. I hope you get that. You can watch the movement of my hands so you don't get confused. I'll label all the lines that I've drawn across: my shoulder line, my chest line, my bust points, my under bust, my waistline, and also my top lines. The next thing we need to do right now is to take our data, and the measurement I'll need right here is my nipple to nipple measurement. Whatever measurement I have from one nipple to the other, I'm going to divide it by 2. Mine is 8, and I'm going to divide it by 2, which is 4. Then I'm going to take it on my bust line to my under bust,
waistline as well as the full length of the top. So after marking 4 inches all around, I'm going to connect it into a straight line. My dart intake will be on my waistline and I'll be taking 0.75 inch on both sides. 0.75 inch on both sides. This actually depends on your size. You can decide to extend it by 1 inch or more depending on how busty you have. So right from that point, I'm going to connect it to my bust line. I hope you get that. I'm going to connect it straight to my bust line. I will do the same thing on both sides. So for my top length, I'm going to come up by 2 inches and I'm going to connect it to my back legs. I hope you understand. You can watch the movement of my hand for better understanding. So the next thing we have to do right here is to take our round measurements and taking our bust measurements divided by 4, whatever measurement that you have there, you are going to put it on the bust line. Mine is 9 inches actually. So on the waistline, you are going to take your waist measurements divided by 4. Mine is 30 divided by 4 is 7.5 inches. And so for my dart line, I hope you get that. For my dart line, I'm going to replace the dart that I have there. I'm going to replace it on the sides. Now on the top length, I'll be making use of my hip measurements. My hip divided by 4 is, that's 41 divided by 4 is 10.25, and I'm going to input the measurement as well. And then we connect all these lines together. So the last thing we have to do right here is to add our bust dart. And to get that, we have to note the difference between the front waistline, shoulder to waist measurement, and the back shoulder to waist measurement. Check yours, whatever measurements you have there, you put it on the bust line. I hope you get that. Then you connect it to where, to that nipple point where we started taking our dart. Mine is actually 1.5 inches, and that is what I just did now. And we are literally done with the front basic pattern. Now if you want to add your allowance to your pattern, it depends on you. This is actually optional. I'm still going to cut this out later so that we don't get confused, but I'm just going to show us how to go about that. So if you want to add your allowance, you won't need to add any allowance to your fabric again. So I've gone ahead to add 1.5 inches all around these measurements, and that is what you can see me doing right now. And the next thing I'm going to do after connecting all these lines together is also to come to my shoulder line and also to come up by half of an inch, which is going to be for the stitching allowance. Now on the top length, that totally depends on the type of style you are making, or the type of or the length of your blouse rather. So you can decide to add it on the fabric and you can decide to add it on the pattern paper. That totally depends on you. So the neckline, you won't need to add any allowance to it, and also the armhole, you have to leave it like that. So that is that about the allowance. Then we cut it out. So right now I'll be working on our back pattern, and I have to draw a straight line first, which is going to be my shoulder line, and then from there I'm going to measure from my shoulder to my bust line, which remains the same 10 inches. And after that, I'm going to take my shoulder to waist measurement. You know, we said the front shoulder to waist and the back shoulder to waist are not the same. So for the back, I have 15.5 inches, and I'm just going to note that. And now to get my shoulder to top length, I'm going to take my front pattern and check the distance I have from my waist to top length. So whatever measurement I have there on the front pattern, I'm just going to input it right here from my back waist to my top length. And so what I have there is just 5 inches, and I'm going to mark that point. And all these lines, I'm just going to connect it into a straight line. I hope we understand what I just did right now. I'll label, and after labeling I'll take my shoulder to shoulder measurement of 7.5 inches, just like we did in the front. And I'm also going to take my neckline. My neckline is going to be 3 by 1, which is 3 inches width and 1 inch depth. I hope we get that. Then I'm going to connect it into a curve using my curve rule. And after doing that, I'm going to take my shoulder slope of 1 inch and I'm going to connect it to my neckline. And I'm going to armhole depth, making use of the same measurements we used in front, which is the round breast measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So whatever you get there, you mark it into a straight line, connect it to the shoulder slope, then you draw a straight line across and mark the center of that line. You divide it by 2 and mark the center of that line. And now on that line, which we call the chest line in front, that same line, you're going to be taking your bust measurement divided by 4. You're going to take that measurement and then you just connect it into a curve. For the back armhole, you won't be needing a depth. You won't be needing any armhole depth for the back. Just to watch the movement of my hand and you're going to understand what I'm trying to say right here. Did you see that? Just connect the curve across without any depth. I hope you get that. Now the next thing we are going to do right here is to take our dart measurement, and we'll be starting from our waistline as well. We'll be taking our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. You're going to note it all around on the bust line as well, and also on the top line. Then you connect it into a straight line. And what I did right here was just to come down by 1 inch. You can decide to just leave it, but I came down by 1 inch. This one is actually optional. Most people even start their back dart from the chest line. Anyways, you can decide to leave yours, but I came down by just 1 inch and I connected it to the waistline. And on the waist, I made use of 0.5 inch on both sides. And now on the top length, I'm going to come up by 2 inches as well. And I'm going to connect it to my dart legs. And after I was done, I'm just going to take my round measurements, and that is basically what we have to do right here. So on your bust line, you take your round bust measurements divided by 4, then you input it. And on your waistline, you take your round waist measurements divided by 4, you input it, and also replace your dart. I hope you understand that. And on the top length, you're going to be making use of your hip measurement, your hip divided by 4, and then you place your measurement as well, and then you connect those lines together. So at the center back, as you can see, I didn't hide my zipper measurements. You can do that on your fabric, and you can decide to add it to your pattern when you are drafting yours. You can just make use of 1.5 inches or 2 inches. It depends on you. And we are done with it. And here is what we have right here after cutting out both the front and the back. Now for the front pattern, you could see that after adding my allowance, I extended the bust dart. I hope you notice that. So if you are adding your allowance on your pattern, you extend your bust dart as well. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just using it to illustrate, so I'll be cutting it out right now. And the next thing I have to do is just to open it up, just to show us what it looks like. It actually makes the bust to be more prominent, and that is actually what that does. So now after opening it up, I'm going to place the back pattern on it so that you can see that it is now going to align after taking that difference that you have on the front shoulder to waist and the back shoulder to waist, so that you can just confirm it, and you can also try it by yourself. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, to subscribe. It's very, very important to drop your comments. Let me know your opinions about this pattern. I really like to hear from you. And also don't forget to share and to put on your notifications so you can get notified whenever we post new videos. So see you next time, and thanks for watching.